Today we're going to be rebuilding the Giants, who have really, for the longest time, been a pretty bad team, which is a little weird because in the early 2000s, for nearly a decade, they were one of the most dominant teams. They won 2 Super Bowls, and they were always in the mix in the playoffs, and like I said, ever since 2013, things have not gone their way. A mix of bad drafts and just honestly not finding that franchise quarterback. To put into perspective how desperate they were, how many millions do they pay Daniel Jones? Like $40 million per year? When you're paying Daniel Jones $40 million per year, you know you're desperate. And with that, I think, I don't even know yet, you guys probably know before I do technically in the thumbnail of the title, that we're going to go for Aaron Rodgers, kind of a bridge guy. Doesn't mean we're not going to take QB at 3 overall. Doesn't even mean we're going to start Rodgers at all. But if Rodgers is deciding not to retire, and there's no good team willing to sign him up, his only option could be the Giants, which for him, I would not understand. You thought the Jets were bad? I mean, this Giants offensive line was even worse. I mean, obviously it doesn't help when you lose your franchise tackle, a guy that's one of the best tackles in the league, and Andrew Thomas, pretty early into the season to injury. But outside of that, even if he's fully healthy, it's a rough offensive line. Wide receivers, they're definitely trending in the right direction. Wan'Dale Robinson had a pretty good year, and obviously Malik Neighbors, I mean, what would he have done with a quarterback? And then Tyrone Tracy, not sure what we're going to do in Madden, because in real life, they have something there, right? He actually looked promising behind, once again, one really bad offensive line. Put in perspective of this offensive line, which I think might have even been better when Saquon was here his last season. Saquon was under 4 yards per carry. I know you can argue injury concerns and all that, still battling things, but under 4 yards per carry for Saquon Barkley. The fact that Tracy didn't get absolutely destroyed behind this line, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. Drew Lock can't be the starter next year. Tommy DeVito, we made like a meme rebuild with him, can't be the starter next year. Defense, though, not so bad. It's hard to tell because that offense is so bad, it's going to make any defense look bad, but they actually did pretty well. One of the better pass rush and run defense win rates for a front 7 in the league. And once again, Dexter Lawrence, some other guys not playing the full season due to injury. Cornerbacks, Drew Phillips had a really good rookie year. Newbin looks promising. Okereke has been their best free agent signing, arguably their only named free agent signing in a long time, to be fair, for a long time now, in a couple of seasons. The edge, Brian Burns, still looks to be that guy, for the most part. And then Thibodeau, will he, won't he? I'm not sure. Hopefully here in this rebuild he will. And then obviously we have Dexter Lawrence, who's great. Definitely some things to add to this side of the ball, but really it is a lot on the defense, on the offense anyways. Wan'Dale Robinson, more of a slot guy for me in a rebuild, so probably looking at wide receiver 2. Theo Johnson, another injury guy, but didn't look great. Still young, obviously, his first season. And then offensive line, we need so much work here. Need a quarterback for sure. And then arguably running back. Like I said, I don't like this situation because Tyrone Tracy, I believe, is going to be 25. In real life, that means nothing. Who cares? 25, plenty of time. In Madden, he's screwed. I'm just going to be honest. It's Jover already. He's 78 overall normal. Even on our 150 XP sliders we usually run, he's getting to an 84 overall max, right? He'd have to put up 2,000 yards 2 seasons in a row to even get close to a 90 X factor, something like that. I don't think that's going to happen, but it's also far from our biggest problem. So there might be no running back signed or drafted for the first season or two for us, but we'll see what happens there. But yeah, this is a team that, honestly, especially if they decide to pass on QB in real life, which I don't see how they could, but you never know. Cam Ward, number 1 overall, and then the Browns get reachy at 2, or they trade down because they're like, dual Carter injury concerns. They can't take one of the other quarterbacks at 3, right? So there's a reality where maybe they don't get QB at pick 3 overall, and that's a scary reality, but a reality I would love because that would potentially make them my number 1 franchise team for Madden 26. Let's be real. Let me know what teams you guys are so far excited to use for your franchises now or in the future. Speaking of franchise, we definitely need to start up a new one as Patriots franchise isn't done because we're going to do some, kind of wacky another season, but realistically it's done. Regardless, though, let's get into this rebuild, and if you guys end up enjoying it, maybe leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and suggest what team you'd like to see next, and what do you think the Giants should take at pick 3 overall. And for our draft class, because he's actually not done with it yet, we're going with one of Big Gargamel's draft classes. I just can't find it for some reason, but it's his January class. He's working on the Combine results update version. We're a little early for that, unfortunately, but for the most part, if there's a player that, did really well in testing and they still kind of fit where we're taking them, we can definitely change it up. But at the same time, the Giants, they're picking 3 overall. It probably doesn't matter too much because they're going to be taking guys that didn't even participate for the most part in the drills anyways. But for a team drafted in the 10 to 20 range, maybe 30 range, it probably is worth kind of waiting for the Combine updated rosters. But yeah, Big Gargamel is kind of the guy this year, it seems like, for draft classes. Best draft class I've used all year for the most part because every other class, everyone's an 80+ overall, so maybe wait on that. But yeah, that's who I usually go with, at least for this Madden so far. I'll also link their YouTube in the description or maybe the top line of the comment section, whatever, as they do YouTube channel updates for their classes, and you get an idea of what they're working on and when the class might be out. Cut day. Yeah, I don't know about that. Of course, we've already looked at the dev ups. I was kind of excited to see what kind of players dev up. No, we're not going to see that. Malik Neighbors, I think, was always superstar, right? Like, he started as a superstar beginning of the game, and I don't think he ever wavered, which he shouldn't have. He had a great year once again, despite all odds, really, honestly. Sounds dramatic to say all odds, but it is fair. Brian Burns, X Factor. I mean, everything looks pretty good here, I'd say. We definitely can go forward with Deontay Banks and Flott as well, so hopefully that'll work out. There's still some promise there for Flott specifically, and Drew Phillips obviously had a great year, so corner might not be a problem at all. And then Graham Gano retires, which sucks. Super long leg. Well, maybe not long leg, but he can kick long. He's got kick power that's good. I don't think his legs are any longer than anyone else's. Maybe they are. I don't know. And boy, this could be a disaster. 31 names, actually, to re-sign. Thibodeau, the smart move is to not give him this 5th-year option and just sign him long-term. The problem is he your guy still? I'm going to argue in Madden he is, so I'm not going to 5th year. I'm just going to try to sign him long-term, cheap it out a little bit, especially since Brian Burns is probably going to regress soon. He's not a young guy anymore. Darius Slayton, I'm going to be real with you. I don't even know how well he played. I really don't. He's always been okay, but not elite. And, yeah, it's not a bad year. You wouldn't want to lose him because you have so many needs, and there's never really enough, right? You could always have another wide receiver as he's not going to re-sign, but unfortunately, that's not going to happen. Azeez Ojulari, I don't think this ever worked out, right? Maybe you sign him and have a decent backup. 6 sacks. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not really seeing much, so might have just been an outlier type of season, but a 2-year 9, it's not bad. It's not bad. Whether we decide to keep him as a backup, edge, or we decide to trade him off, perhaps. Isaiah Simmons, for a moment with the Giants in 2023, I think it was, he looked like, hey, maybe he has a resurgence, but with the injury and I don't know, dude. I think it's over. It might just be over. Dolchich, not even know he was here, to be honest. I would not. I'll be real with you. I didn't even know he was here. Drew Lock, meh. I'd rather just not. Tommy DeVito, maybe for advertising, maybe for a little bit of money. I don't even know if that hype still exists anymore. Boyle, I remember he was thrust into action. Jimmy, I don't like any of these other names. I'm going to let them all go. We're also going to be trading a 7th round 2 years from now for Aaron Rodgers. It seems like he's just going to be straight up released, but if the Giants just want to guarantee that thing, I don't really care. A 7th round pick's not going to hurt my feelings. And no, he's not a 29 overall. It's just that's the easiest way to get him. I'm not going to, have to offer a 3rd round pick because the game values all quarterbacks super high for a guy that, the Jets don't even want anymore. Not that Aaron Rodgers was bad last year. Look at these ratings. They're not bad at all. His overall is low, but that's because they dropped his awareness. They can't, EA can't confidently say that Rodgers still isn't good or accurate. They just have to say, well, the Jets sucked. He wasn't his best. We got to lower his overall, right? So there's that. But yeah, this is, the Giants would be a little hyped. They'd be less hyped than, the Jets, they were hyped enough to almost start the Super Bowl parade. That was one of the craziest hype moments ever when he was a Jet for that, little bit. I don't think that's going to happen with the New York Giants, especially since they have definitely a lesser looking roster on paper. But in general, yeah, after what happened, don't think there's a lot of confidence there anymore. But let's sign some free agents, see if there's anybody here that can improve this roster now. Trent Brown, How many times I have tried, I think Rodgers would have some freaking, some flashbacks here. But yeah, how many times I've tried to sign Trent Brown, it hasn't worked out, but I'm going to try again. I'm just going to do it again. I mean, this isn't going to be a Buccaneers moment for Rodgers with, Tom Brady getting all those linemen signed for his, protection, but we're going to try our best to do something similar. All right, targeted a bunch of players. It could be Trent Brown going to us or Trent Brown going to the Commanders, the division rivals. There's no way if I'm Trent Brown I decline what we offered, by the way, so we'll see what happens. We offered a bunch of older veteran names. Julian Blackmon didn't take the offer, even though we're the only one with even close to that high of an offer. I'm hoping to see 3. I'm expecting to see less. We do not. We get Bobby Wagner, which is pretty cool. We get Brandon Sheriff in a little bit of revenge against the Commanders who just stole Trent Brown. And then Julian Blackmon. I don't hate this contract at all. 2-year, $14. He'll be our new free safety for a while. Sheriff just, with Wagner, kind of bridge players, if you will. Trent Brown, he went to the Commanders on a 2-year, $37. That's great money. Here's the thing, though. I kind of offered him a 2-year $64, which is crazy money, I know, but that's the situation we're in. That's how low of interest. And even then, he didn't sign with us, so say what you will. Nick Chubb's a Bronco. It's a cool fit. Simmons to the Packers. I don't think that makes really remotely any sense, but sure. Ryan Kelly tried to get him as well. He went to the Packers as well. And some other contracts. I mean, it's not a bad little, group. Really need a lineman. Really use a safety. And then middle linebacker. I wouldn't hate McFadden starting again, but him next to Okereke, that's a pretty good unit. I like that. All right, we are in the draft, and I've still not decided on what I want to do. Like, is Rodgers a backup at this rate? It's like the great Aaron Rodgers. There's no way he could be a backup, but at the same time, he's like 40-something, So if you find a quarterback that you like, you let them compete in preseason. Whoever is better starts, maybe. Travis Hunter going number 1 overall to the Titans. Definitely a move. Could happen, but doesn't seem to be the case. And Sanders number 2 over Ward. I mean, I'm going to make the argument that should have been Ward, and that probably would be Ward. Carter, yes, he could fall because of the injury stuff. Will he? It doesn't seem likely, but it's possible. I feel like I have to play this realistically. Like, do I not take Cam Ward because, well, if he's there at 3, who the Giants arguably might trade up for number 1 for, do I not take him? Or do I argue, well, the Browns took QB, that would be almost certainly Ward over Sanders? I don't know. I really don't know what to do with this pick. Like, Cam Ward's also 23. Carter's still an option. Still could go Will Johnson. I don't know. Will Johnson's definitely fallen out of that top 5 by a lot. This is a tough one for me because I was kind of feeling like Ewers in the second round. Ewers in the second round, and then we have Rodgers kind of bridge, teach him a little bit, and he grows from there. And, we use this pick on something else that we need, like wide receiver even maybe. McMillan's a little high, but maybe wide receiver. Or we trade down and take Golden, late first because he had a crazy combine. I mean, I don't know what I want to do here. I know in Madden going Ward here is a dumb decision. It really is. But in real life, I think that could be what happens. So what do I do? I'm really thinking about it. I think we even evaluate what a trade down looks like. I think that's what we look at, but I don't think there's going to be anything keeping us in the top 10 that's going to be worth it at 3. By the way, to put into perspective how freaking terrible this game is, the proposed offer to get pick 8 when you choose the trade finder is that we give them pick 3 overall, a second round 2 years from now, and a 6 next year. Just so we're all clear of what kind of game we're playing here. Even this, at least it makes sense-ish, because it's like future obligations that we don't know for sure. It's a terrible trade anyways, but at least we don't know. This is just straight up, like, brain dead. This truly feels like we got scammed, but we're trading Micah McFadden, Ojulari, a 1st, a 4th, and a 5th this year with a 4th next year to take the respective pick 9 overall in the next 3 rounds from the Saints. The big thing for me is not only have I already done a Cam Ward rebuild, and I don't really want to do another one, but I also just think that he won't be here at 3, right? So if the Giants want Cam Ward, he's going to go in the first 2 picks. Got to make a trade. Neither of those 2 teams might trade, especially the Titans if that's who they want. My argument is Cam Ward's not here. Sanders just went, and even if he did, I don't think I'd take him at 3 overall. So the argument is if Travis Hunter is gone, which, right now it seems like it could be Cam Ward, then Travis Hunter, I don't know if I have a choice at 3. So my argument is Cam Ward is gone at 3. I'm trading down to get more things because we have so many needs. And we'll see if they even go Cam. They don't even go Cam Ward anyways, which is just stupid. But sure, Will Campbell all the way at 4. Graham goes 5. Seen that a lot. 6 for Walker. Really wish we needed edge, I'll be honest. Ward 7. That's a great pick for them. And then Williams probably here at 8. No, Will Johnson at 8. Pick 9. We still have wide receiver. That's what we want to go. Go Quinn Ewers in the second round. Wide receiver in the first. McMillan and Neighbors. Is that the move? That could be insane. Really debating it because this team also needs O-line, but do you really want to build up more O-line when you have so lack of weapons? Like, who are you blocking for at that point, you know? So it's like, I don't know. I'm debating this. This is actually one of the hardest rebuilds I've had to do just based on decisions. I think if I'm trying to throw realism right out the window, because the Giants, will they trade down? I don't know. Is there a good chance? Maybe. But there's still a realm of reality. But will the Giants trade down from 3 all the way to the late 20s? Probably not, right? They can maybe stick around the top 10 and grab someone great, but anything further than that I think is outside of the reality of the situation. And then as far as defense goes, I think the Giants' defense is already pretty good as is, so they definitely need to focus on offense if we're not going BAP, you know? And screw it, I am going to go McMillan. I'm going to go with, setting up this wide receiver room for the next decade, arguably. So we've got ourselves a really big body, framed, wide catch radius, amazing wide receiver that honestly New York hasn't had in a while, right? Like, Neighbors has a great catch radius. He's very good. But as far as like a big frame guy like that, since what? Like Plaxico Burress? And at pick 3 in the second round, Quinn Ewers is still there. Is that the route? We were kind of planning this thing from the beginning. Is that the route we're actually truly taking? Screw it, we've done it a few times, but Jaxson Dart. Let's just play it safe. Jaxson Dart, 106 true talent, normal dev, 91 throw power. I like it. I like it a lot. Let's see what we got at 9, though. We might end up making a trade up, or do we trade down? Starks, great value there. Still sitting here. We've seen some safeties slide, but we also have some running backs. Genty will go soon enough, I imagine. If we didn't go wide receiver in the first, I would have definitely went Matthew Golden here, but we obviously did. And, of course, Loveland went 29 to the Commanders. We do we have a tackle option? We still have like 2. Do you go Emory Jones, maybe? That wouldn't be a bad move because our O-line, we didn't really do a great job. I wouldn't hate that. Man, Worry, safety is not that big of a need with Blackman on the team now, so maybe without Blackman, I definitely take safety, but with, maybe not. Cornerback, I don't love the 2-3, but it's not terrible. I think we can develop it, so might just ignore corner. I think we're looking at DT or tackle. Do we take the tackle? Do we go Hairston? I mean, I think in Madden, the cornerback situation's not so bad. And then, of course, all these running backs. Maybe Hampton, maybe Judkins and whatnot could be there. But yeah, Genty's definitely a first-rounder, obviously. Yeah, I mean, we really need the linemen. And as far as, like, this class goes, I think Emory is probably the best of the bunch left over. So we're taking Emory Jones, I suppose. Hopefully he's hidden. 107 true. Hidden dev. There you go. Hidden starter. Nice. Turner, we've drafted him a few times. That might be our move anyways. We need interior of the D-line. So I think based on pure need, Shamar Turner, I guess, is going to be our choice. Taken him a few times now, but, I got no choice. I need an interior guy. I know he's hidden. I got to play the system. And I really don't want to take a lineman because I know most of these linemen are normal. They're just not good in general, but this team needs line, right? They definitely need O-line. So do we look at Grant or Fairchild? I think one of these guys, if not both, might be normal dev. Fairchild looks... they both look pretty bad. But at least Fairchild looks decent as a pass blocker. I guess you take Dylan Fairchild. 167 true, normal dev. What can I do? Take Jordan James. We never use him, but he is hidden development trait. We just never use him. And then if there's any kickers, I don't think there really is in the 7th here. And pick 30 in the 7th. We already had a 7th. That's what we'll do as well. There's only one kicker with even halfway decent power, so I guess that's what we're going to take at 30 in the 7th. 129 true, 88 kick power. I guess. Take a look at that draft recap. How did we do for ourselves? 77 overall for the wide receiver, obviously. Dart, quarterback, 70 overall. Emory Jones, very close to not even being hidden. Turner, 68 overall. Fairchild, voice needs some water there. That's tough. That's tough, dude. It's like basically another like John Runyon, but worse. That's tough. Yeah. I don't know what to say. I think we did pretty well. It's just some of the overalls are a little lower in this class. I mean, even Cam Ward, I think, is like a 72, 73, so, which is fair. I mean, it's not bad. It's just when you're looking at the overall, like, what we're going to draft next draft, when it's a CPU generated, it's going to be, like, miles worse, you know, compared to what we will have. But Emory Jones, at least we got ourselves a hidden dev tackle. Raw, but he's hidden. You know, he's pretty high draft pick, but landing a hidden dev user-created offensive lineman is like drafting a superstar in a CPU generated, so it's not terrible. Shamar Turner is also not who I thought it was. I was thinking of someone completely different, I think. I don't know. Either way, we got ourselves a hidden dev. Left end, we need a lot of work, though. Let me tell you, we need a lot of work. Let's actually take a look at Cam Ward, just to kind of compare. Cam Ward, yeah, 73 overall. So what can you do? 73 overall, he is hidden, but it's only star anyways, so he's good, but at the same time, 23, star dev, pick 3 overall. It's pretty high anyways. Carter, that's a great trade up for the Saints. Worth their time, worth their money. Sanders, he also hitting, he is hidden. Bit even high overall for some of these guys, but at least their ratings, you know, their overalls are pretty low, but their important ratings, very high. Dart looks great, though. We'll see. I'm going to play him in preseason. Whoever wins the job is going to be the starter. I don't care if it's Rodgers at this point. You know, that name doesn't go as far as it once was, or once did. So if Dart outplays him for preseason, it's go time. All right, this is the roster for year one. However, once again, we will have to evaluate how preseason goes, as Jaxson Dart could be the starter. And it would be obviously smart for us to start him, but I'm going to do the realistic thing. You get yourself a quarterback in the second round. You got Rodgers as the starter. If you're trying to win now, you're trying to see what you've got with the rest of the talent. You're trying to win games. You give him a chance, right? You give Rodgers a chance to start, even though Jaxson Dart is definitely the smarter guy because he has the long-term chance. The rest of the team got a new right tackle, got a new right guard. We're moving Neal to left guard, and a long line of big tackles moving a guard successfully. We're going to try that thing out. McMillan at wide receiver 2 sets these top 2 minimum, maybe top 3 with Wan'Dale Robinson at 3. Wide receivers up for the long term. Running back, we'll see. You know, once again, I worry about Tracy. He's actually 24. No, he is 25, so I was right. It didn't even go yet. That's tough. Very hard to develop, so probably going to be looking at a running back replacement pretty early on. And then defensively, we are a really good year one team, right? Like, because you have Bobby Wagner and then Blackman, but how long will those guys be those guys? Hoping for Turner to have a great season. Banks, Phillips, Newbin for sure, and then Thibodeau. That would be massive for him to get, a really good season in there and become a superstar, maybe an X factor, and be the edge of the future. All right, one thing's for sure, we're still losing games. Doesn't really matter who the quarterback is. Gave them both a chance. We lost all 3 games. Let's see who the better of the 2 was. So game 1, Rodgers was the starter. He had 1 touchdown, 92 yards, a pretty good passer rating, and Dart came in and threw 2 picks. That's already really hard to improve on. Then we move on to the Dolphins game where Dart was the starter. He had 0 touchdowns, 0 picks, but he had 138 yards, whereas Rodgers, touchdown, 0 picks, 86 yards. And then the final game, unless Dart has an amazing game, looks like it's going to be Rodgers starting. And yeah, both quarterbacks were bad. Dart threw 2 picks. Did have a better game, apparently, but I don't really know if I agree with that. I think Rodgers, even here, was technically better. Aaron Rodgers, the starter for year 1, unfortunately. I mean, yay! Lot of money. Thibodeau, please tell me. I didn't change any of the schemes, so hopefully he's playing well. That's good. That's not a bad start. So Thibodeau, I mean, he looks to be the long-term guy. With those numbers alone, I've got no choice. 5-year 50, that's a super steal on top of it. Wan'Dale Robinson, I'm going to do another 5-year deal here. 5-year 37, that's great money. And then you have Flott, little more questionable because he's not as interested, so it's going to cost us a little bit more, but the price is still really low in general. So we're going to do a 5-year as well. I mean, these are all guys that could easily be number 3s for life, and I wouldn't hate the contract, and that's why I'm doing those, signings. Sure, maybe we keep them, but I don't know. We'll see with that. Banks, I don't know if we're going to do the 5th year. We definitely want to keep him long-term, especially if he has a good year. Rodgers is probably going to retire, right? And even if he doesn't, it's probably going to be Dart's time, even though Rodgers actually isn't playing too badly right now. The rest, yeah, I think we're going to let these all go. Is Neal playing well? I mean, we have him as guard, but he's still listed as a tackle. He's, only given up 2 sacks, so maybe just to guarantee some positions, especially since Scherf's gone. I hate that. Move him to left guard because that's where we have him at anyways. See if it gets any cheaper. For a moment there, it looked like, the Giants might be headed to the playoffs. And then it didn't really go well. The season ended, and we started Jaxson Dart, see how he played. We just lost like 8 in a row. It didn't matter who the QB was, 8 in a row. Let's take a look at those numbers, though. I mean, not a bad start, right? Like, this is not terrible. And then, you lose, 6 of the last 7? It's going to happen. It's not good. Let's take a look at the numbers. Both quarterbacks, see how they played. Obviously, Rodgers played a little bit more than Dart did. But Rodgers, 17 touchdowns, 10 picks. Dart, 8 for 7. Not good. Under 60% completion percentage. Not a great year. At least they were both positive. But yeah, run game was obviously terrible. McMillan was great. Neighbors definitely worse than before. But, it's the scheme more than anything. Then we have the offensive line where our center gave up 9 sacks. That's fantastic. How many linemen started here? We started freaking 6 linemen, and they all gave up 5+ sacks. So at some point, Jones lost his starting job to Elimin, or I don't even know how to say his name properly. Thibodeau was great, 11 sacks. Hopefully goes to superstar. Brian Burns, 7.5, 4.5 for Turner. I don't think he's going to win any rookie awards there. A couple of okay pick numbers. Sauls was horrible. Punting was okay. I mean, honestly, the whole team, other than like McMillan and Thibodeau, were terrible. Not a good year. Not a good one. He got Rookie of the Year, but he's already Superstar, I imagine. And if not, I guess, hey, sweet, he's Superstar. Russell Wilson starting for the freaking Saints of all teams. Sure, why not? Best quarterback in the NFC, apparently. Wow. Yeah. Rodgers definitely didn't work out. Didn't expect him to do amazing things, but expected better than that. And Jaxson Dart might not be the guy either. We have a pretty high draft pick. Quarterback could still be on the board. We'll see how Ward did as well. What team did he go to anyways? I can't remember. Was it Seattle? Was not. Milrow wasn't great. I was going to debatably take him over Dart. O'Connell started for the Steelers. Wow, there's a lot of teams that need quarterback, huh? I mean, Caleb was bad. I mean, this is one of the worst quarterback seasons I've ever seen in Madden Sim. Bo Nix was great. Sanders, 33-9 for the Browns. Really good season, actually. Not that it mattered because he was 2 overall. Ward, 22-8, 3,600 yards. I mean, that's not really particularly great anyways. Packers versus the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, with the Chiefs winning it. DevOps, obviously McMillan, hopefully Thibodeau. That would be really sad if he's not. Once again, McMillan, I don't know. Maybe he wasn't Superstar out the gate. Either way, he's a Superstar now. That's all that matters. And he wasn't. Okay, so he goes to Superstar. That's a great dev up. And then, unfortunately, defensively, Thibodeau doesn't go up, but Burns goes to a 90. How did he have this good of a glow up? Where is this XP coming from? I mean, he's getting 1,000. Oh, I guess maybe these. So he's one of the focus guys. 1,000 XP per week. I guess it adds up. But damn, 90 overall. Tibbs, what is he? He's got to be at least 83, I hope. 81. Better season than Burns. Because his dev sucks, though. Doesn't really go up. Drop down for Blackman. Obviously, he started as 80. Being an 80 still after a full season tells me he regressed. Not a great year, really. No, I mean, outside of like McMillan and weirdly enough, Brian Burns, the team really didn't progress too hard. So Rodgers didn't retire, but yeah, I'm not going to pay him. He's not getting paid. Mark Andrews, that is a nice option. Do I really want to pay him, though? I don't know. Leo Chanel, if he was at middle linebacker, he was costing, somewhere around the 18 million per range. Yeah, probably. Maybe that's someone we go for. Don't need Oweh. I mean, this looked... Ooh, Aquanu. That's a guy we're definitely going to try to go for. The problem is all the guys we want, very low interest in joining us. They don't want us. We want them. They don't want us. Packers lose a bunch of wide receivers. Bobby Wagner didn't even retire. Could have re-signed him if we wanted. But yeah, this looks so promising. I kind of just glanced over it. I'm like, oh, there's some pretty good players here. And then the more I looked into it, I was like, oh, actually not so much. Do we go Mark Andrews, though? He's 30 years old. I don't really want to pay a 30-year-old wide receiver or tight end. A wide receiver is a little different. 5, yeah, no shot. Tooney, no one wants him, dude. I hate constantly going Tooney, but nobody wants him, and I need linemen. But we got some decently youthful players. If we can get these 2 linemen, that would be massive. See if we do, and we do. That's awesome. Aquanu, 4-year 60. Tooney, 1 year 22. That's really good. Aquanu is an 84 overall at guard, mind you, and outside his pass block finesse, he fits as a really good guard, right? Great run blocker, solid power blocking. Looks good. All right, we're in the draft, and unfortunately, we have pick 7. I was hoping to be a little bit higher, especially when you see the quarterbacks we've got here. 2 to 3, 3 to 4, but a top 5 in Doug Long. B with a bunch of A's. Once again, the top 5 grade, automatically 76, 77 overall. Could be generational for all we know. Probably not, but A awareness with all those A ratings looks good. And then you have the Raiders at 1, who, yes, they were the worst team in the league, and yes, they sort of need QB, but they are also kind of locked in with who they have. They have Sam Darnold, who they paid quite a bit of money to, and I think with that being said, they would be willing, not saying for sure, but they would be willing to trade down. The question is, can we get to number 1 overall? I don't know. I really don't. So we're going to see what it's going to cost us. If it's possible, we're going to do it. If not, we're going to be sad. I was going to make that move. I was going to grab the quarterback. I was going to trade up to 1. It was going to cost us a first this, a second this, a first next, and like a third next. And I was like, you know what? Jaxson Dart's young. Maybe the quarterback falls. Doubt it. It's probably going to be taken right here, but I can't trade that much to get him. And he does go number 1 overall. They say screw Sam Darnold. I really don't have any other options, I don't think, because that was kind of like the guy I was going to go for. So I'm not really even sure what I'm going to do here, as I really don't like the other quarterbacks that much. They're kind of mid. They're kind of, they're a little mid. O'Neal's not bad. It's just I don't like that 2 to 3. Maybe I still take him at 7. I'm not sure, but got a bunch of linemen. Maybe you trade down there. I don't love that either, though. Corner, you got some options. Maybe you just trade down for more depth. I don't know. I really, I was kind of all in on that QB, and then, as that trade, it kept climbing and climbing. I needed to offer more and more. I was like, I don't like this, and I decided not to. It was just too much. Jaxson Dart, we took high second, going to give him a chance. Snelling, I didn't really look at because, he's 23. Those key potentials didn't look that good. I'm not a huge fan, so kind of skipped out on that. Do we do this move? We should try. The Vikings, I don't know. I don't know if I trust them, but if we're going to gear up for the future, we're thinking, okay, maybe Jaxson Dart's the guy, but maybe he's not. If we make a really good trade like that with the Vikings, we might land, enough capital to make that move like we just had with Long and not have to break the bank. 2 first-round picks, easy clap. I would prefer to stick to 20, though, so if I can try to get to 20 and land a first next year, that's going to be the plan, I think. This costed us pretty much every time. We traded a first, a fifth, and a sixth this year with a third next with Runyon and Chapman to gain a first and a second this year from the Cardinals at 22 evaluation and a first next year. I would prefer to, stick in the 20s and still land that, spot. They go for a tackle. I don't know if I really believe that's the smartest move, but my goal is to try and make a realistic trade. And whatever happens from there is not my job. I don't really care what they do. It's all about us. And now we have a question mark because we're at 22, and that quarterback that we maybe even thought about taking at 20, at 7, is still there. He's a 2 to 3 talent. That's telling me that he's at least probably low 70s. If he's hitting dev with elite throw power and good speed, yeah, I've got no choice. The value's there. What are we looking at? 73 and true. Normal dev. Nice. That sucks. I really thought we were just making a generationally good decision there, and we didn't. All right, let's move on to the next pick. We don't have that many draft picks. You would think with a trade down we would, but we really just have that extra second and then a first next year. I'm going to trade to the late second. I know a lot of trade downs. I apologize if that annoys you, but I think it's the smartest thing to do when your team is in so much need. Ooh, intriguing. I don't think I trade out of this draft, though, this second round. I think we stay here and try to get a third because we need some starters here. So we need a linebacker. We need a DT, those minimum starters. Running back, you could argue. Tight end, for sure, you could argue. Well, we got a third-round pick for next year back. We trade this high second for a pretty late second and third for the Niners, but at least it completes our draft class a little bit. If there is a safety here a little bit later, that might be the route. Oh, Matthews went. Hopefully the other guy's there. We had another DN that looked really good. What was his name? It was Powell. He is actually there. And Angelo Powell, I think, is going to be our choice. Let's take him. 23 true talent. But again, normal dev. Oh, man. These normal devs are starting to crush me. And then with this pick, I think I'm going to take Ron Jones. Really good B's across the board. Pretty fast. V's hidden dev. He's automatic starter. Free safety. Please. True talent 11. Another normal, man. They're good players. They're good players, and we're just getting unlucky. Linebacker, we definitely need. Got 2 options. How fast was Carter? Was he fast? B's. He's not great, but I'm going to take him because we have more tight end options. So a trade up for a tight end is a little easier than a linebacker. 52 true. Finally a hidden dev. And yeah, we're going to try to go to Seattle here. We make the trade. We're going for Barrett. Could use a center still, and I definitely want Santos. So we have at least one more trade up in us. I would love two, but I don't think we're going to have that. Lawrence Barrett, we're going for the athleticism. Is he actually true talent 80? True talent 80, but hidden. All right. That's a great pick. We love it. Let's go to the next round. We trade Jalen Hyatt and a 5th-round pick 2 years from now to the Raiders for their high 5th-round pick, which is going to be for our running back. Santos. Been talking about him a little bit. Really like that athleticism, and I think he is the best of the bunch. I mean, he looks really promising. This could be a gem. And if it is, he's a starter. Is he actually 31? True talent 31. And he is hidden. That is a huge gem. He looked like a gem, but I couldn't say for certain. Very fast, good trucking, a bunch of A's, and some of the ratings that matter the most for a development or an overall for a running back. So that is a huge draft pick. There was also an edge rusher. He's gone, so there's no point. Let's move on. Edge rusher looked pretty good, but at the end of the day, it's not really a big positional need for us. Draft class, we'll definitely have to take a look at that QB, but Jeremiah O'Neal, 72 overall. Very good short, solid deep, and then medium's a little iffy, but really fast, great throw power. I don't even know if Jaxson Dart gets a chance. I mean, we're going to give him one, I think, but he really shouldn't. This guy looks like the guy. Angelo Powell, new right end, actually. Great block shed. Really good strength as well. That's a good pick, even though he's normal. Once again, really good draft picks. Just really unlucky on the devs. Ron Jones, good zone coverage. Pretty athletic. Great man coverage. He's a good player. Starting free safety, don't care. We need to develop somebody. And then Carter, automatic middle linebacker 2, because we have no options there. We'll see what his dev looks like, but a little bit of a drop-off from Bobby Wagner, but overall, higher potential than any of the linebackers. Okereke even needs to be replaced as soon as next season, so that'll be something we have to get on. Then what else? We have the tight end, 72 overall. Not the best of overalls, but higher dev than our current tight end. Theo has really just not shown much, so we're going to likely start Barrett. Let's take a look at the dev. Star was really hoping for Superstar Plus. I was feeling it too, but didn't get it. And then Santos, probably going to be star, but automatic starter, highest potential on the team. Going for a power back, 99 injury as well. Has catching ratings, catching traits. Guy looks pretty good, 22 years old, a lot younger than Tracy, obviously. And higher ceiling with Superstar, actually. Never mind. What a draft pick. All right, we got to take a look at that QB. He's going to be really good, 77. Probably, I'm going to guess 78. 79 even. Oh, don't tell me he's generational. 91 short accuracy, 86 medium. Doesn't quite look generational, but he very well could be. 91 short's ridiculous. Damn, it would have been worth the trade up. It would have been worth the trade up. I kind of want to go realism a little bit too, where, yes, we could take QB if it's there for us. Wow, this is a really good class at the top. But I also wanted to give Jaxson Dart another chance. 90 power move. There's another generational up here, it seems. I mean, some of these players in this draft class specifically are better than the majority of the ones we've seen in our, following or simming 30 seasons video. Eric Pendleton, he was a 79 overall. 99 spec catch. He could be a generational. 99 spec catch is quite literally maxed. He is superstar, but pretty much a damn generational with that overall. And then, of course, let's take a look at that safety since he's an 80 overall as well. Mike Bodden. I don't think that's generational, but it's a great safety nonetheless. Really good player. Probably going to be superstar. He is star, actually, so pretty good player there. We had some other QB options, though, so we do want to see Snelling went 9th. He is hidden, so he's sort of better than our guy, but I did not see it. He had like a C and a D for his accuracies. What is that about? Star dev. I mean, it's arguable that our guy's better, especially since we got to take him a little later. But there was other players even after our guy that we could have taken and didn't. Bynes is one of them, 69 overall. Of course he was hidden. So we were right on the premise that he's not as good as our guy, but he's hidden, which automatically, arguably, makes him better. If he was higher than star, then for sure. But yeah, another weird draft. Are we selling? I can't tell. I feel like we might be. This costs us a little bit, but I'm down because it's our biggest positional need right now. We trade Deontay Banks, who's on a contract year, Boogie Basham, a 3rd and a 6th this year with a 6th next year for Jackson Powers Johnson, who's really looking great. I mean, 23-year-old, 78 overall. Really need the center, though, so I made the trade. All right, this is the squad for year 2. Of course, we got to go back into preseason and take a look at who the better of the two QBs is. Really pulling for O'Neal, but at the same time, I want Dart to have a chance because every single time we've used him, it's well after the first season. and, he doesn't really get a chance. So we got to give him another one if possible. Tracy, after the offseason drills, is actually an 82 overall, but I'm going to play the Madden card here a little bit, and I know Santos is a way higher chance than Tracy does to develop, so I'm going to go the youth route. It's only year 2. We have time to develop him. If I go with Tracy again, he doesn't have a great year, we're screwed at running back, and we have the hope for Gibbs or something. Wide receivers are great. Tight end, a lot of potential there. O-line, once again, this is our pride and joy for this rebuild, at least. Yes, it's not really even earned. 2 of them are free agents, one's a trade, but still, we fixed the O-line. Defensively, definitely need a new replacement for Okereke, but for now, Frankenstein will have to be his backup. And then Bobby Wagner was there, so getting Bobby Wagner back in the lineup. Jones at free safety, hoping for a dev up. Same with Powell. The team is trending in the right direction, but we're still questionable at quarterback. There's no question about that. All right, let's take a look at the preseason. Win, loss, win. So Jaxson Dart was a part of the starter for both wins, but was he the guy that did it? That's the question. First game, O'Neal definitely outplayed Dart. No questions asked. Then O'Neal is the starter. How was he there? Through 2 picks. Dart absolutely outplayed him in that one. And then the final game, the Colts, we have somewhat of a close one. Because Dart, yes, 4 touchdowns to 1 pick is amazing. But O'Neal technically had the better passer rating. I don't know what to do here. Because Dart had a better game as like a full-time passer here. I think Dart's the starter, dude. We're wasting another Rookie of the Year chance. But you know what? We're playing this thing realistically by ear. What happens. Dart played better. It was a close preseason, but Dart, that final game, he separated himself, and that's all that matters. Even though I really like O'Neal, and I think as far as a Madden rebuild goes, the smartest thing is 100% to start O'Neal, give him a chance at Rookie of the Year. I've got to play it realistically. So, Jaxson Dart, first official season starting. $135 million. Blackman, I think we have the replacement for already. Tooney will keep, but I'm not going to pay him now because he could retire. Same with Okereke. I think he's in a regress. He already dropped 3 overall. He's only getting older. He might drop 3 to 4. 79 overall is probably not worth it. A lot of money, not a whole lot of players to sign, and then Neighbors, that'll just be a long-term contract when we get to him. No 5th-year option there. So we might be paying Tooney, and that's really it. I have no idea if we're making the playoffs, but we had ourselves a pretty good season, I will admit. Jaxson Dart, hopefully the guy of the future. He was 2-to-1 touch and a pick ratio. The problem is the volume was a little low, and we even lose to the freaking 5-11, 4-11, 4-12 anyways, at the time, Commanders team. So 8-9, real chance there at 8-7 to make the playoffs, and we just lost a billion games in a row. Wait, are we even done with the season? I think my math is a little off here. No, we are right. Okay, I thought we still had one more game to go. Neighbors, great year as well. Let's take a look at the season. Real shaky early on, not the best. Then we got, second half of the season, we started off right, 4 straight wins, but we lost 3 of the last 4. We would have made the playoffs. We would have won even 2 of those games, I think. Unfortunately, we didn't. It's still a good season, but how do we even play offensively? Jaxson Dart, 25 touchdowns, 15 picks. I'm thinking that, that's not a bad year, obviously, first year starting, but I'm thinking that obviously the scheme is holding back hard. Jackson Powers Johnson, what a year. I don't know why I clicked on Jake Carter there, but defense looking like some decent performances there. We had 2 guys, near or into the double digits, and then Powell is a rookie, 7.5. Please get Rookie of the Year. Linebackers, Thibodeau with 3. Are we in a 4-3? Like, this should be a 3-4, right? I don't know why the Giants wouldn't be a 3-4. I guess you can drop back. Got 3 picks dropping back. Pretty good freaking amount of picks for the low volume of dropbacks. But Rookie of the Year, Santos. Okay, who is already superstar, actually, now that I remember. And then Powell. Nice. We get Offensive Rookie of the Year and Defensive Rookie of the Year through, a bad season. At least it leads to some guaranteed dev-ups, and Neighbors might also join them. Hopefully Jaxson does, but I doubt he will. Might move on to another scheme. I have no idea which one, but might try something else out because we just know certain schemes do this the same thing every rebuild. Certain schemes do well. Others, no matter how good your team is, just drag you down. Lions win over the Ravens. Take a look at the retirements. See if we had any. We had some mentors, so probably I don't think we would have had anyone that's like, oh yeah, we would have, but thankfully he's not. Bobby Wagner did retire, one of the names, but Tooney. Could have been Tooney. Thankfully he's still here, though, so we'll re-sign him. We'll have one more year of a really solid put-together line. Gives us a chance to maybe draft someone in the third and sit him as a backup for now. Neighbors goes to X Factor, like we said. Dart, unfortunately, does not go to Star, but he's still pretty young, 79 overall. He's developing. He looks good, so we'll see what happens maybe with that backup quarterback. Do we trade him off for like a third-round pick? It's a huge L if we do. He's really early, though, so I'm not going to do anything yet because, we got him on a rookie deal. Why would I do it? Defensively, Powell goes to Superstar, and then bigger than that, Thibodeau goes to Superstar. Powell, that's the kind of year we were hoping Turner to have. Might move on from Turner early. The trajectory isn't looking good. It's just not. What's his overall? 76. It doesn't look good. So we're definitely going to throw that name on the list of position needs. And then, of course, Thibodeau's still a little raw, but 83 overall Superstar. He's starting to, climb up there a little bit. I don't know how he got dev up this year, not last year, but I'm not going to complain. And then Nubin, unfortunately, just the problem with this game, the safeties are glitched, and it's really hard. Neighbors, fifth-year option. It might cost us 41 per, but at least it's 41 per, not 45 per. We'll probably get him on a 35, 36 million per year deal, so there's no point in paying him 41 right now when that could get even higher. Or, if we do it now, it's cheaper. Tooney, could be a tag situation. I'll do a 1 year 23, which he takes. Nice. Could have been more, could have been less. I don't know. We got him for 1 year 23. I'm fine. Okay, we talked about potentially him going to 79, 80. Goes to 79, like we said. Huge drop off from Blackman, obviously, with the regressions. And then everyone else is basically mentor backups, which if we want him back, we can get him back next season. How well did our kicker play again? I don't even know. See you later, I guess. For Logan Cook, he'll probably end up joining back on a cheaper deal, less guaranteed, because punters and kickers, they're a little volatile on the market. But how well did our kicker play again? Because we gave him a second chance after a abysmal year, and for good reason. He missed 3 out of 27 kicks. He's one of the best kickers in the league, apparently. What a year that was. Let's go to free agency, see what we're looking like. So we have 131 million. We got our O-line intact still, which is great. And we have Evan Neal if we want to trade him off. Some pretty good linemen here. 4 of them that are really good. And then I don't love Garner Johnson because of the age. If he was maybe Superstar, arguably, but Star Dev, I don't know, man, because Nubin's 26, and he's basically been the same overall this entire rebuild. We're entering year 3 here, and he's the same overall still. These linemen, though, man, these prices are good. But what do you do with Powers Johnson? You move him to left guard next season? I feel like it would be stupid to waste him now. Tooney at right tackle, Jones backup. How well did Jones? Let's see if there's wiggle room. I mean, Jones was really good. The line's good. It's just I know Tooney's going to be gone, and the linemen we're seeing now will not be there next year. So it's like, I don't know what to do here. I just don't. It's been a long time since we have had a problem like this where we have too many linemen, and they're not even young. I'm going to go for a 2 year 28 on Ragnow, and we'll just find a spot to play him. I mean, I have no choice. The guy's good. Even at 31, he's got 3-4 years left in league minimum, and we've got 2 to 3 years left in this franchise. So you do the math. We get Ragnow, but unfortunately we do not get Garner Johnson. All right, so we're in the draft, and it appears that Cardinals pick turned out to be pretty damn good. We have big 4 overall, and I would argue with Cardale Flott being an 81 overall 26-year-old that he is, or that position, cornerback, is one of the kind of main positions that I would see as one that we need to replace. Quentin Davidson, we looked at corners because there's not a lot, is a top 5 true talent projected corner. But you also do have a little bit later a cornerback in Roy Franklin, who I might even like more because of that man coverage. Not the fastest. We've taken players like this before, and it's been fine. Probably looking at 89, 90 speed. It's not great, but it's good enough. I don't know if I can trade up to number 1 for that corner, but if he's sitting there at 2, maybe. But yeah, if he goes number 1, there's nothing I can do. You're at 4 overall, though. I'm debating, do I take outside linebacker? Because Burrell, he looks really good. Really good edge rusher. I mean, Burns is 29, so he's not really that old. He was a little bit younger than I thought he was when I started this, when I was talking about he's going to regress soon. He is, sort of, but I don't think I necessarily need him. But do I want to trade down again? Also got to say, the Packers are kind of giving me a haul here. I'm going to take it. I'm taking this haul, and then at 13, I'm probably taking somebody. I don't know who. But Burrell, man, am I regretting not taking him? Possibly. That's who they take, though. That's a really worthy trade for them. That's worth it. Spillman at 4. Oltzman at 5. I mean, if Burrell falls at 13, that is a crazy turn of events, but he won't. I'm going to trade up. I'm going to trade up from 13 and take him. I don't care. I was going to take him at 4. For a moment, I really thought about it. And then I was like, I can't. But pick 10, a little different. I can live with it. Future third to move up 3 spots from 13 to 10. Might have been even a little bit too much. I just kind of, that's where my starting point was, and I made the trade. So that is going to be the move. I'm going to make sure once over that we're not making a mistake. But I'll take him. I mean, he's a first-round pick. We have him for 5 seasons if we want him. So future-proofing to the max. 16 true. And we made a wrong call. All right, normal dev. And this isn't even the guy I scouted, but this guy looks really good. You know, a classic thing I always talk about, how I scout players that I don't know a lot about because the other guys I'm willing to take. But McKinney looks great. Super young. Could play corner if we have him to. He's fast. He's going to be our pick here at 30. We took him 30. He's pick 11 true. And he's hidden dev. 91 speed, 89 Excel at 6'1". Easily good enough to play corner. Still want the other cornerbacks, though, obviously. Round 1, it doesn't necessarily prove anything for me. This guy looks great, though. I'm taking the risk, and next time, if this guy's normal dev, next time, I'm just going 3rd round. Every time for linebacker, I'm done with it. True talent 19, normal dev. Okay, he's a good player. But because he's normal dev, I can find a million players just like him in the 3rd round. So no. Franklin, late 2nd, early 3rd, that's what we said. Roy Franklin, let's see. Hoping he's hitting, because then I can put that guy at safety. I hate that so much, normal dev. I knew it too. I was feeling it, but it didn't matter. It didn't matter what I was feeling. Do you have extra draft picks next year, though? Could make some trade-ups this year from that if we want. I would like a DT. I think Wayne is going to be my guy. And then linebacker, I've got to start the guy I've got, so I'm not going to trade up for a linebacker. But I would like to trade up for 1 lineman, so this is going to be like the ultimate slow sim. All right, a little bit of a costly trade. A 3rd 2 years from now, a 4th next year, and a 5th this year for this kind of middle, not even kind of, perfectly middle of the 3rd round pick from the Broncos. I really didn't realize he had less than I thought. We had that extra 1st round pick, but that's it. We don't actually have anything else. This trade up, of course, is going to be for James Wayne. We had 2 DTs. This is the remainder of the 2. Looks great. I'm expecting normal, though, which is, it's going to be a hard sell on starting him over Turner, who's star. Or not. That is a lot easier of a sell. Hidden dev. Actually still here. Maybe I don't go with the other guy. Nope. Schaub still looks better. Calvin Schaub looks like one of those prototypical gems. 52 true. Hidden dev. Great pick. Got ourselves a literal another Ragnow, which, hey, we have him Ragnow on the team. I'm sorry. That was just not good. We also have some trade offers on Tracy. I don't hate that. Okay, I hate that. That's a terrible trade. Let's take a look at the recap. What do we do? Burrell, 75 overall. Just problem is he's normal dev. So, not a bad pick. Just unfortunately normal. So, it's going to be hard to develop him as the backup. But we went for a best available pick type of situation. McKinney, new starting free safety. Very raw, I will admit. I guess the corner we just took, he'll play the slot. And then maybe he'll get the dev up that we see a lot from. Did I just move in the corner, by the way? A lot of moves we see. What did I did move in the corner, didn't I? But he is 75 overall, in case you were wondering. But yeah, we see the slot get dev ups a lot from interception stuff. So maybe he'll just be the future starting corner, not this season, but maybe the season after. Let's take a look now at the next guy, another normal dev, Xavier Brooks. A lot of normals in that 1st round. Not a bad player, but yeah, could have had somebody else. Brooks not only was a waste of a pick because of how high we took him, but in general, not as good as other players. Then Franklin, prototypical, great pick. Every day of the week, you could see he was going to be good. Normal dev, though, we've been seeing a lot of that, unfortunately. And then James Wayne, our new left end. 81 finesse move. Okay, that's a good pick. Sweet. Definitely want to see that corner, though, if we can. Number 99, why not? Dev, star. Probably goes down as well. Yeah, he's 71 overall, but way higher ceiling than Turner at this rate. Really good pass blocking in Calvin Schaub. Might be your future left guard, perhaps. So I'll put him over there for now. Would like him to be, be a little bit heavier, but 299 is fair enough. Technique. Let's take a look at the draft itself, though. Definitely want to see that corner. 80 overall. Worth pick over overall 1, but not when you don't have it. 84 zone. Looking like maybe a better safety than corner. But yeah, when you don't have pick 1 overall, unless it's going to cost you less than a second, probably not worth a trade up. Sorry, it's just not. And he's only star. So, very good player. Obviously, I don't think you regret anything here for the Patriots there. But if I would have traded up, I definitely would have. I would have definitely regretted. We took Burrell over Bates, by the way. Bates is definitely hidden, isn't he? Yeah, I'm going to maybe, from now on, unless that top 5, that talent grade gives you literal top 5. I'm going to go with my gut every time. There's certain builds that just look prototypical, and you can kind of just tell they're going to be. They're not always hidden, but you can kind of tell they are. Like DeVoe, to me, the safety we had scouted and didn't take him, I'm almost certain he's hidden dev. Like, I should have went with my gut, you know? I'm going to, from now on, I've done enough drafts to kind of get a feel for it. I'm just going to go with my gut. Screw the potentials. I'll use them as a guide, but it's not going to make me choose one over the other, just simply put. All right, we're now looking at the year 3 roster lineup. Didn't really think of a good way to use Powers Johnson, so we're probably just going to sit him as the backup for now, and then once Tooney retires, we'll move Ragnow or probably Powers Johnson himself over to left guard. Tooney was actually just traded to the Bears today, so I'm like a day early, so I apologize if that really offends someone. They're like, oh, why did you do it? Tooney is a Bear. It's like, well, it was beforehand, okay? I'm sorry. Once again, the question mark at quarterback, Dart, he played pretty well, but at the same time, he's a 79 overall normal. There's no guarantees that he'll ever be a high enough overall to take this team to a Super Bowl. But he's our guy. He's our guy for this rebuild, it seems, unless, we're a top 5 drafting team this next season because we're terrible. Defensively, we talked about the best way to get Franklin to dev up is probably to play the number 3 spot, get that dev up because those guys get all the picks, they get all the stats for some reason, and then move into number 2 next season. Corners, they're not the best, but they're good enough. And then everything else, Brooks, hopefully he devs up. Jones, hopefully he devs up. McKinney's the starter, strong safety. I think we have a chance to be the best team in the league, but there's also a chance to plateau at some of these positions like Thibodeau, the safeties, corner. So we'll have to see. Hopefully we just have like a really good season. $160 million. Obviously Malik Neighbors needs a contract. 32 is high, but it's not end of the world, right? We can afford that. We're fine. He accepts it, of course. Could have probably done a little bit lower than that, in fairness. Lawrence, definitely want to keep him. Super high overall, super good player. Could have to pay a little more than this. We'll see. Did take it. All right. Maybe should have done a 2-year instead of a 3, but that's fine. Drew Phillips, obviously, 5-year deal. Just got to pray for a superstar dev up, which, we'll see. $85 million, obviously Powers Johnson. Super good price. I hope we're not stunting his growth too much here by benching him for a year. Not even benching him, you know what I mean? We just don't have the spot for him, which is sort of benching, I guess. Well, unfortunately, even with a playbook change, still missing the playoffs, unless there's, I didn't really look, but I just assume 8 and 9 at best is not going to make it. Yeah, it's not going to. The 7th seed was Dallas, who we just beat. So, yeah, there was no chance we were making the playoffs. No point in looking at the win-loss because at this point, I would usually want to be in the playoffs by now. Dart had a great year. The team just didn't. Santos, he should be better than that. McMillan, killer year. Malik Neighbors was solid. Wandale was okay. And then Barrett was just horrible. Offensive line, Tooney was great. Economy was great. Jones was really good. Ragnow is not as good as I was hoping, and then Thomas, 8 sacks. For tackle, it's not bad. Edge, not seeing the number from Thibodeau or Wayne here, but a lot of tackles for a loss. 2 guys with double-digit sacks. The Giants, their 3-4 defense isn't terrible for numbers. Drew Phillips, talked about wanting to get him to superstar. Could with 5 picks. 3 for Franklin. Is that rookie of the year? I don't know. Sauls missed 3 kicks out of 22. Glad we, kept it going with him. Dixon was solid, but... yeah, Saul's definitely improved since that first season. MVP goes to Joe Burrow. Any award wins for us. Please, rookie awards. Did we have a rookie start on offense? No. Defense? Brooks. I forgot about Brooks. That's fine because Wayne was already star plus. Brooks wasn't, so that's a great dev up. Quarterback, number 6. Running back, definitely not on there. Wide receiver at number 3, so that's Pro Bowl. O-line at 2. He didn't play, so it wouldn't have been earned, but I don't care. Could still get it, though. We've seen the number 2 out of the number, the top 2 get a dev up as well. Maybe that's actually intended. What do we got for the dev ups? A lot of money. So we should be fine with quarterback, wide receiver, but a lot of money. Dev up for... How is Dart with 39 touchdowns still normal? How is he still normal dev, man? Like, how? I don't know. I'm not going to change anything, though. McMillan goes to X Factor, which is great. Santos, 87 overall. Superstar now. The team is young. The team is good. But, Dark still being normal dev is definitely unfortunate. Tooney sticks around, by the way. But, we're going to be moving on from him. Powers Johnson's our left guard. Brooks is now a superstar. Phillips also a superstar, which is awesome. But let's show that dev up for Brooks. from normal to superstar. That's why you start those rookies. Got a good chance to get those dev ups. If you win Rookie of the Year, you go straight to superstar a lot of the time. Franklin, unfortunately, still normal. Did put our focus on corners just in case, and seemingly potentially a good decision, as Franklin's still normal. He only went up 2 overalls. I would not feel great about him, being thrust in the number 2 spot. But then 76 was rough. Only went up 1 overall. Flott, he's 27 years old, so his max is kind of reached. I wouldn't even hate putting him at safety with that 90 zone. Have a really good backup unit. But yeah, for now he has obviously corner 2. But if we have somebody in the draft, we're obviously going to take them. 8 and 9 gives us a pretty good positioning, so we can probably get a really good corner if that's the route we want to go. $93 million. As much as I would like to keep Tooney, wow, $50 million for McMillan pretty much. Yeah, I don't think I'll be doing that. But yeah, fortunately, Tooney's going to be gone, 35 years old. But we have everyone else set up, and we need to save a little bit of money anyway, so that is going to be the plan. 4.2 for Dixon. He decides to play for a new team, which I wouldn't blame him, but the tag is under 3, so why wouldn't I? Free agency, you have the usual. Jahmyr Gibbs. You also have Ayuk. You have Jack Campbell, who's not even a superstar this time. McNeil is not a superstar either, and then Terrion Arnold, who's a free agent. Could actually go Terrion Arnold. Do I see him as that guy, though? 26 years old. He's solid. I think I'll throw an offer on, but I won't simulate until I know what the cornerback class looks like. All right, we have pick 16 in overall, but there's a decision to be made. There's a really good corner, obviously top 5, but also we have found a generational wide receiver that I believe, if I can recall, is better than any of the wide receivers we've seen in both of our drafting for 30 seasons to find the best rookie videos in Mike Poole. He is 6'4" with a 4.2 440. These are the types of guys I was talking about the entire time. Where is that guy? Where is he? He is here. He is here in this rebuild. He is going number 1 overall. It's weird because it's like I don't feel like we should do this because I don't need him, but he's also insane, right? Okay, they're if it's going to cost this much, maybe not then. Yeah, maybe not because this is a lot. We'll see what number 2 looks like because that corner does look good too, and we need a corner. Don't think he's even remotely close to this wide receiver, but yeah, we can't make that trade up. It's going to cost too much. It's not a position of need. If I even had a guy under 87 at wide receiver 2, I would have made the trade. I would have traded the wide receiver, first-round pick, maybe 2 first-round picks, but don't need a wide receiver that bad. It's actually one of our best wide receiver rebuilds in a while. Both guys are super young, but at the same time, there's something to be said about the fact that, this is a pretty high ask, and you can almost probably trade for a proven guy at this rate. I don't hate that trade, but do I really want this one cornerback? Because he's good. I don't know if he's that good, though. Dane BBA. He's good, but I don't think that's a generational. I think it's a good top 5. I think you can wait, take one of the other corners we have. Like a Clancy looked really good. A-man coverage, B-zone, 6'3", super fast. Probably normal dev, though. That's what scares me, but Dane could be normal dev as well. Clancy, I think that's who we're going to take. Look good enough to me. True talent 12, and he does happen to be hidden. That's massive. I was really feeling normal dev, but 6'3", with all that speed, I'm willing to give him a chance at number 2. A lot of 90s there, by the way, but that's a great draft pick. He might actually be better than Dane. Let's take this Rams trade. We get a second-round pick off of them next year. I know they got that wide receiver, but still. The Rams are giving me a future second-round pick. I don't think we're even going to be around to use that, though, so there's really no point. Panthers looking pretty good of a trade. I think I could do better than that, though. Usually if you're going top of the second to the late of the second, you can get the 3rd and the 4th. Look at this trade right here. This is so much better than what we were offered. Basically, the end of the 2nd and the 3rd and the 4th with a 3rd next year. Of course, it's a big jump, right? It's like a full round, basically a full first round. We have 16 as well. Probably going to trade that down as well. Land some linemen, maybe some extras, some extra picks. The Bills give me a great trade, give me a 3rd next year. These are all teams, maybe not the Colts, but realistically, teams are going to be drafting, in that playoff slot next year as well. Let's start taking some players though, and I think we're going to start. Let's not start with Chris Devlin. I might actually take a tight end because we just lost Theo Johnson, I believe. So having a sick bet. Damn, he is way better than I thought he was. We'll take him. 14 true talent. Hidden dev. Only 87. 446 is not 87 speed. 446 is like 91. We've done, even though we're not making the playoffs, it's weird because we've done such a good job with the starters that we have these luxury depth picks. Chris Devlin, late second, early third. Why not? 63 true and not hidden dev. Obviously a great quarterback guy. You would love to use her, but not hidden. Okay, I really expected star dev there. Can't lie. Third, a fourth, and a fifth next year to move up to 75 with the Commanders. I mean, they got a pretty good trade off of us, so, especially when you expect us to miss the playoffs. Considering Roberson's the best linebacker, I think, available based on athleticism, I'm going to take him first because I wouldn't mind, if I lose a lineman, fair enough, but I don't want to lose Roberson, who happens to be normal dev and a bad draft pick. So there is that. Let's move on to the Ravens and Broncos now if we can. We have the end of this round with 2 draft picks. Could use one of that 4th round pick on one of these trade-ups, but we'll have to see. The Ravens are seemingly not a team that can really afford too much, so we're going to try to do the 4th. We get it, and I'm just going to knock out that trade with the Broncos real quick as well and, have that pretty sick lineup. We tried a bunch of stuff to get that pick off the Broncos. We also have that quarterback we took in the first round that just never developed. 75 overall, though, and he's still young, so we might throw him to a team soon. Also, who's this? Jamie Oliver. That's an interesting name. But let's take these 2 players now. 2 linemen. Ashton Robinson. Looks like a good pure pass blocker. Hoping for hidden, obviously. We get 1, so that's a great start. And then to finish our draft class off, believe it or not, maybe we go to the 7th round for a fullback. I don't know. We will be taking Winters. That's going to be our guy. Dimitri Winters looks really good, more balanced than the other guy. Probably going to be the one that's normal, though. Nope, both hidden. We're killing it. And we also have a backup Schaub we've never used, so we're going to likely move some players here for next year stuff. We got a lot of draft capital. Once again, we've killed it in the draft, I think, that, as long as Dart's not a problem, we're looking good. Right? 76 overall, 75, 72, 70, 73, 73. We'll have to see the corner and obviously the wide receiver. The wide receiver is going to be unbelievable. Gordon Clancy, cornerback 2, automatically 6'3", 95 speed. That is a tough corner to throw against. Every time I see these, and I know you guys have been talking about it and, asking about it. Every time I see these tall, fast corners, I just think of McKenzie, and I just think of the fact that I want to do another franchise. Been working out the details of relocation, kind of looking into what I can and can't do. Tight end sick. Maybe he even starts one of these years. But in the terms of what is going to break the game, because I've heard doing too many relocation teams at once or doing too many team builders at once is really buggy. Look at this quarterback, though. He is really good. You want to make sure that's not the case. I don't want to start a franchise up and then a couple weeks down the line or a couple seasons down the line, it's the franchise is no longer usable because it's corrupt because there's just too many assets or whatever going on. That middle linebacker was so bad, by the way. That is not good. And then linemen, they're linemen. So, if they're hidden, sweet, or superstar, sweet. If not, so be it. Let's take a look. Oh, man. Mike Poole, 98 speed, 97 excel, 99 jumping. It would have made for a hell of a YouTube title, I'll tell you that much. But, we didn't really need him. I mean, that guy is arguably the best wide receiver I've seen in this game. I think we've seen maybe a 6'6" guy similar to him, but pretty close. Top 3 I've ever seen, I'll tell you that much. And then Dane, hidden dev, so he was hidden. He would have been worth the pick, it seems. But if he's not higher than star, then Clancy's just as good, and it did not cost me pick 2 overall. And, okay, he's not just as good, believe it or not. Superstar X-Factor, I mean, that's hit or miss, right? Could have happened to anyone. Look at this class, though. 78 overall tackle allowed. Really good base ratings across the board. I'm feeling pretty confident that this guy's superstar. If not, he's just really good. Yeah, it felt superstarly. And then we have a safety, which, unfortunately, we technically don't need, so I didn't even scout the safeties. Pat Ferguson, 83 zone coverage. We've seen a lot of those high zone, high man, high whatevers be stars, so we'll see. I'm feeling super. No, he's X-Factor. Okay. Damn. That is a really good draft class. Wow. Couple of decent trades here. I don't know if I want to put this quarterback on a team that's a direct competitor, but Diggs and Dotson, those are pretty good players, so I'm going to see what we can get off of them. O'Neal, Walls, and a 5th 2 years from now, or 1 year from now, actually, to the Buccaneers for a 3rd-round pick. Definitely a lost investment, but we still got a little bit back, and that's all that really matters. You can't change the past, you can only improve the future. All right, Season 4, still not a fan that Dart is normal dev, but He's had some good seasons. The team hasn't played well enough to make the playoffs, but this could be the year. Offensive line still looks good. It's not as good because Tooney's gone, but Powers Johnson's a great left guard. We'll see what happens with Thomas because the money is kind of running out here a little bit, but at least, we have backups in place. Tight end, Barrett, this is kind of his last season, right? Like, he was not good last season. The year before wasn't much better, and then, of course, he has a superstar backup waiting to go. Doesn't really necessarily need to start because, you do get more XP and better upgrades as a rookie, but since he's a superstar, he can't really improve from that unless he has like 1,000 yards on the season. It's Santos, hopefully he develops. And then, of course, we have the defense where really it's down to just Wayne and the safeties that continue going up. Also, completely forgot to pull off the Arnold offer. Darren Arnold's our slot corner now, which, he's a little bit slower than Clancy. I think it makes more sense, right? Because Phillips is the true number one with superstar. Clancy's a true number 1/2 with that size and speed. And then Arnold's a little slower. Fits pretty well in the slot. This is a great cornerback unit. Even Kendall Fuller's our number 5. So, they should not be throwing the ball well against this team. This is a solid-looking roster. It's a 90 overall. We're rocking the Packers offense because I'm sick of losing. If we miss the playoffs this year, I would be genuinely shocked. All right, it is re-sign time. I completely forgot about the likes of Brian Burns. I'm going to try to do a 2-year there if we can. McMillan, very expensive. Maybe we should have traded him off and got that X-Factor wide receiver. Emory Jones, affordable, and he's played well, so try to keep him if we can. Jaxson Dart has almost no interest in returning. This could be a close one, I think. Ragnow's on the board as well. We have linemen, though, so if we're going to lose anyone, it would be linemen. Also, I really like Sauls. If he's played well, I'm going to knock a contract out for him right away. Of course, this 1 year he has a really bad year is the year he needs a contract. Oh, that sucks. Maybe we don't go for him. Maybe we actually let him go, I guess. Let's for sure take a contract for Brian Burns. If I can do a 2-year, that'd be great. 2-year 63, nice. What a guy. We're really close here. I think we're losing some linemen. What is the situation here? Team has franchise quarterback. You're the quarterback. EA, please. The franchise quarterback motivation for a quarterback is diabolical. What do you mean? I don't know, dude. I don't think I'm re-signing unless you guys have a franchise quarterback. Well, yeah, what position do you play again? What do you mean? We're going to have to offer more than that. But if it doesn't cost too much more than that, we should be fine. The problem is, got a lot of money here. See, now McMillan asking for a franchise quarterback. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. $35 million per. I'll do a 5. Thank you. It's a lot of money, but he is worth it. We have $36 million left, or $26 million left, so we should be able to get Dart. Might be able to get Jones, and then, of course, we talked about Ragnow. Not bad price, though. It's just we can't really afford him. And obviously, I'm going to go with the youth, especially since Emory Jones has been unbelievable. This will be the 1 year he's not. His ratings are terrible, by the way. But he's been really good and not allowing sacks, although ironically enough, on par for by far his worst season. What is with these guys? Usually it's they have one of their best years on a contract year, you re-sign them, and then they're terrible. Our guys are like, I'll do you one better. It's like, really? Oh, man. But yeah, we got to try to get Dart at minimum before we work on anyone else anymore. I went left field. I went Ragnow over Emory Jones, dude, because his value jumped. 2 years 17, looking at like a 2 years 17 per, looking at probably 2 year 18 per, about 36 million, and he's, like I said, having a pretty bad year. And the big thing is, yeah, he's an 82 overall, but those ratings are so bad, whereas Ragnow is like 90 across. He's got 0 sacks allowed in the season. I know he's a center, but still, I'll find a way to get a new tackle, or I'll move the guy that I moved to left tackle to right tackle. And also, don't look at that season. We're having a bad one. We turned it around pretty well, but even if we didn't, it wouldn't have probably mattered, as the NFC East has been horrible. But yeah, we're looking pretty good in the playoffs, guaranteed, which is awesome. We lose to the Steelers, but let's take a look. Yeah, you can see 8-9 for the Eagles, 7-10 for the Cowboys, and then 2-15 for the freaking Commanders. How do the Rams do? 9-8. They just missed the playoffs, so our draft picks looking pretty good. Let's take a look at the schedule. Of course, ran the Packers playbook halfway through last year. Didn't seem to help. This year, really bad start, but then, kind of picked it up a little bit. Won a lot of games in the second half of the season, and with that, we're in the playoffs, which is obviously the goal. About damn time. Jaxson Dart, I don't even know if that's a better year than last year, to be honest with you. Santos, 11 touchdowns, 1,100 yards. Robinson, put him in the higher portion for the slot, and it was actually a really good balance. Barrett's been terrible. We got to start the other guy. It's over for him, especially since Barrett's going to need a contract next year. Jones did kind of tighten up a little bit, though. He only gave up 7 when he started with like 5. Thomas kind of giving up some sacks here, but yeah, I mean, there could be some money that shows up and Emery gets signed, but we'll see. Pass rush, yeah, Burns was great. Everyone else, super mid. Super mid. We might have to change to the Steelers. Sauls did play better, but still not good enough for the re-sign, and then the punter was good. Let's take a look at the yearly awards. Definitely not winning MVP because Josh Allen wins it. Anything for us at all? Don't even know who we started that would have gotten Rookie of the Year. I don't think any. We've been just future-proofing. A lot of close calls, though. Unfortunately, Nkwonu number 2. You know, Burns number 2, and just a bunch of number 2s. But number 1 in the division, into the playoffs on top of it, of course, as we take on the Carolina Panthers. Could be one of our rebuilds where we just never have a great quarterback and we don't do anything because of it. End of the game. Carolina starting off with 7. They start off with 14. 14-7. Still 14-7. 14-14. 21-14. 21 all. 24-21. 31-21. No way we're losing to the Panthers. Okay. Down by 3. 4th and inches, they get the stop. They do. At their own 2, they get out of there. Driving down nicely, but a 4th and 4 is staring them in the face with 5 minutes left from the 45-yard line. Considering a punt could easily put this team. I really want to run this ball because it's not free, but there's an opening, and this is a really good line. I'm going to trust it. This is crazy. And it works! What a risk. It works off. I mean, hey, Santos 11 for 111. There's reason to do it. But yeah, I mean, that punt could have went into the 20-yard line for a touchback. It's a 25-yard punt. Less than that, actually. Instead, we get a touchdown drive, you know? Oh, my God. And they drive right down. I mean, if that doesn't tell you we made the right call, I don't know what will. What is that? I thought that was a pick. Run out of time here, boys. And they get it with time just about expiring. What a game. 42-38 over the Carolina Panthers. We love to see that right there. Let's take a look at how the 2 QBs played. They were amazing. Bryce Young threw 1 pick, and that might have been the difference. Rushing, Santos was great. Neighbors was amazing. McMillan was really good. Freaking Wandale had some moments in there. Defensively, sack totals, we had a little bit more than them. Interception for McKinney. We got a McKinney back in New York. And then, of course, Sauls misses a kick. There's a reason why we're not re-signing him. I don't feel super confident, though. I got to be honest. I don't feel really confident about this season. I know year 4 is a very magical year. We always say that. It's a year that we win a lot of our Super Bowls when we do win them in. But a game like that against the Panthers, I don't love it. I know we're a really good overall, but I don't know. I just don't feel confident about it. All right, here we go. Winner is in the championship round. Really good start with a stop and a score. 7-3. Atlanta seemingly moving the ball better than us, though, and there they are with the lead. It's all tied up at halftime, 10-all, 17-10. Atlanta scores back. I just don't like this. I don't like the way this looks. Yeah, I mean, Atlanta just looks better than us throughout this thing. 4th and 3, you got to go for this. I don't care. No field goal or anything like that. You got to go for it. What are they thinking? They're thinking punt. I thought a field goal would have been a bad decision. A punt would be just unforgivably bad. Am I really going to trust Barrett on this? And overthrown by Dart. I can't believe it. Santos wide open. He misses the throw. Maybe it's my fault. What was that? Clancy with the pick. A touchdown would tie it. They get the tie. Problem is there's a minute left. 3rd and 11, Atlanta. They're not going to get it. It's overtime. Clancy just saved the game, and unfortunately, it might not matter as we're going to have to punt this ball. 3rd and 1. 4th and 10. I mean, any score wins it. Literally any score. Looking good for a field goal. Come on. He hits it. 27-24. It was looking dire. 3 minutes left. They had the ball. Clancy saves the day as a rookie. Penix throwing 2 interceptions. Dart was not great at all, but at least he didn't throw 2 picks. Threw 1. Robinson was great with that big run, but Santos is more consistent. 4.5 on 20 carries is pretty good without a big run. McMillan with 3 touchdowns. Basically the battle of the Mike Evanses, if you will, sort of. They're a little bit smaller, but same height pretty much. Very similar performance there. Pass rush, a lot of sacks. Ebikidi got 3.5 on us. That's insane. How is their pass rush better than us? Besides the fact that they're... now they're in a 3-4, so, I mean... Yeah, I don't know. The two youngsters, though, McKinney and Clancy, to be fair, the whole team is pretty young, so it kind of makes sense, right? Like, Arnold's one of our older guys, just to put it in perspective. We have a really young team. But hey, to the championship round, the Vikings. What are they? 16-1. There's no shot. Obviously, they had the bye week, which makes you wonder why I even went to the wildcard round. They won by 3 over Seattle, but I got to see this, like, overall. What are the Vikings? Like, how are they who they are? 16-1 is an 86 overall. They lost to the Cowboys. Hey, Cowboys did something right, baby. Yeah, I respect those Cowboys now. But, yeah, championship round, we're a higher overall, but we've been a little inconsistent. Going to the end of the game, we get a nice score of 7. Defense doing well, 14-0, 21-0. Vikings do get a score, but it's looking promising. 24-7, 31-7. Minnesota is getting dogged on. They do get a touchdown with a 2 point, so they're not done, but that drive not being a score will end it. 38-15, our best performance for sure by far. We just took on a 16-1 team who obviously won a game in the playoffs and just walked them. Like, we just sent them out of their own stadium. Dart was great. Rushing, Santos has had one of the, believe it or not, one of the best playoff performances like down the line I've seen in a while. Usually even the best running backs have just a terrible game or even multiple. Thibodeau almost tied his like season sack totals in this one. Arnold with a pick, who we just talked about, and the Giants are headed to the Super Bowl. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about year 4. Maybe it's, you know what? We always talk about like what we do and the playbooks and stuff. Maybe it's the other teams, right? We talk about the Lions who they lose, all their players. A bunch of teams losing their players maybe is, the reason, perhaps. I don't know. But we're in the Super Bowl now, and it is against the Chargers, who win by 1 over the Bills. I'll take the Chargers over the Bills, I think. Don't want to be too confident because that's usually when we lose, but let's take a look at how they got here now. Kind of curious to see if they were the ones that kind of maybe beat the Chiefs. The Jets beat the Chiefs. Okay. Chargers beat the Colts by 6. Then they beat the Texans by 3. Then they beat the Bills, of course, by 1. Maybe I'm a little more confident than normal. You're usually just kind of 50-50 in it, but that last game felt good. And the Chargers, I think, are beatable. Dart, finally a star, by the way. And then Wan'Dale Robinson, 85 overall, superstar. Maybe we should have used him in the slot a little bit sooner since he is the slot. I mean, he's the slot, but you know what I mean. Could have propped him up to get that dev up sooner. And then, of course, Dart, now a star development trait player. Really good ratings. Just took him a while to get his development trait actually upgraded. Anyone on offensive line, once again, Aquanu was number 2. No, they're not going to give it to him. Then defensively, I don't think so, right? I don't think anyone went up here, unfortunately. It's still really good players, but yeah. Just everyone's going to be the same dev. Wayne, though, 82 overall, not bad. Went from 76 to 82. Better than his rookie year. So that's saying something. But let's take a look. Full game for all the marbles. 92 to the 89 overall Chargers. Let's get it. All right, going to the end of the game. 7-0, 7-7. 14-7. The Chargers are coming out. 14 all. It's a close game. Well, that could have been a perfect drive for them, and they're going to have a really good start to the second half. We are just not moving the ball. I don't like this at all. It's taking a long time to move it as well. At least we're finally moving it. And that's a really clutch drive. Problem is, I don't feel great about our defense. Although, Clancy, erect the statue, please. Looks like we're going to be holding on for a field goal here. 44 seconds. If we hold on here, put the statue up of Clancy right now. He's the most clutch cornerback in NFL history. 2 staring down the barrel of losses in the playoffs, ended by Clancy taking the ball away. Why would you throw against him? The 6'3", 95 speed frame, the absolute unit, bails us out twice now, and we win a Super Bowl with the Giants in year 4. First time making the playoffs in this rebuild. That is unbelievable. I can't believe Clancy. Like, as soon as I saw pick, I was waiting to see the words Clancy. I don't know if it's just number 2 corner or if it's just him. But we've seen Andrew Phillips, number 1 corner this entire time. He had the most picks that one season, 5 picks. So, literally 1 interception the entire Super Bowl, and Herbert threw it right at the end. Dart, the volume's pretty low, but only missed 2 throws out of 18, so pretty good. Santos, once again, one of the best playoff runs I've ever seen, and they're not even special games. 80 to 100 yards, which is good, not like super crazy, But once again, you usually see like a really bad. We've seen Bijan Robinson with like a 2.2 in a game before. Like, that's crazy. The fact that Santos just never had a bad game in the playoffs, love to see it. Slater got sacked, beaten for sacks twice. Seems to be Brian Burns is the guy. Very equal sacks, 3 apiece. Should not be equal, though. We have a better pass rush unit by a mile. And then once again, Clancy, the guy's insane. Tom Clancy, if you will, sniping that ball out. Unbelievable. He's the GOAT. I would say they also, we had a really long drive that one time. I was about to say, they probably had the time of possession. Yeah, they did. 33-26. Pretty crazy. Well, 34-26, whatever you want to round it up so it actually makes sense mathematically. But I am a little curious to see what the re-signing would look like for Emory Jones. I don't think it's the end of the world. Like, we could lose the entire offensive line starters right now, and we have like 3 guys in place that could replace them, so we'd be fine. And we're only losing like 1 guaranteed, if that. So very curious to see what the retirements are like. I don't think we would have had anyone. Steelers had a lot, I'll tell you that much. We gave a bunch of really solid players a Super Bowl ring. I don't know if any of these guys would have been on backups for any other team, but Grady Jarrett, Kendall Fuller, Awuzie, Winston, just some pretty nice contracts. There are some players there kind of arguably deserve a ring, and they're going to get one because of that. Let's take a look at the re-signings, though. Let's take a look at the negotiations. We have Emory Jones. He wants a lot now. But we have 33 mil, so I'm not sure who we could get rid of, but if you really wanted to, which I don't think I would risk it personally, I'd probably play it safe, you could sign him, right? Like, you could pull off this contract. Maybe you do. 4-year 82. Boom, done. Lose Andrew Thomas for the future, but usually when Andrew needs another contract, the Giants let him go in game because he starts to regress a little bit, and he's asking for like 30-something per year. So, even now, you can get rid of Thomas if you really wanted to. So, yeah, the team is fine, even with paying Emory Jones there, which we didn't even need to. Once again, we have freaking, what's his name? Ashton Robinson probably projects to be the future left tackle. What a team. Let's actually take a look at it, though. Speaking of, here is the squad. We already looked at Dart, but let's take another look. One of our worst quarterbacks we've had, by the end of a rebuild, but he's good. He's still really good, so it's saying something that this is one of our worst, But he definitely played well in the playoffs and ultimately wins a Super Bowl ring very early into his career. Hopefully he doesn't follow Rodgers' mentorship too much and not win another one, but Malik Neighbors, a little bit worse than I would have thought, right? Like, medium and specifically short route, I would have thought would have been a lot higher than that, especially that short route, like we said. McMillan, this is going to be a ridiculous card. His player cards are going to look insane. Getting ready for it. He has not much deep route, but this is exactly how I would build him. I don't care about the deep route for a guy that's 89 speed anyways. I want a big body guy that's going to make things really tough underneath, really tough intermediate, and that's exactly what he is. Basically max at everything that isn't deep route and athleticism, but huge, so kind of counts with that athleticism. Santos, did he ever have a good regular season, by the way? This was his best at 4.2, which, it's an improvement, obviously, but it's still a bit lackluster. Let's take a look at those numbers, though. 91 overall, great draft pick, super gem. Weird build. I think of this Santos guy, and I'm thinking of an elusive guy. Nope. Pure power back, 95 truck, 91 stiff arm, unbelievably fast, great break tackle. He's a problem. Barrett doesn't need a contract just yet, but terrible regular seasons every single year. He's combined for 1,200 yards, 3 seasons as a starter. Hillman's definitely your guy. He's absolutely your guy going forward. Look at these. Look at this. He's getting worse. He's just not. He's regressing. That's the guy that needs a regression, not those safeties. And then offensive lineman, you can argue Thomas, maybe look at him, but Jones, power blocker, maybe you move him to guard. I don't know. We've got plenty of guards as is, but maybe fits better as a guard. But we took him as a tackle. We drafted him and started him as a tackle. Jones, safeties in general, just the classic. You got to be a superstar or an X Factor to really progress, as most of these guys just, they don't go up much. And then when they do, they lose it all at the end of the season because they're regressing at 24 years old. It's ridiculous. McKinney, great man coverage, okay zone coverage, doesn't regress, thankfully. Or, no, we were in the re-signing, so yeah, we're past the point of where regressions would have started. Brian Burns, though, I was dead wrong. I thought he was going to regress at some point pretty early on, and I was just completely wrong. I don't know why I thought he was like 28 to start. I wonder, I mean, in real life, he's probably pretty close to it. But I was expecting, we were going to have to replace him at some point. Not that we took Burrell because of that. I took him just because I liked the value. Thibodeau really never developed, unfortunately, even though he got his superstar dev up rather early into this one. But yeah, I only took him because the value was there. Najee, Burrell, still got years left on him. But yeah, arguably a wasted pick, especially since he was only normal dev and only a 79 overall. But he's a good backup. We got depth on depth. This is one of our best depth rebuilds, I'll tell you that much. Jake Carter, ridiculously good. That field general really worked him up. Normally, even the middle linebackers usually lacking something, but no, he's very balanced. Then, of course, this is not going to look the same as he is not a field general. He's a run stopper, 88 block shed for Xavier Brooks. Very talented, really smart, superstar dev, good athleticism. Just not as balanced. Obviously, Carter is, I wouldn't say 10 times as good, but very much so better. Drew Phillips, 88 overall. For a moment there, I was like, do we have to replace him too? He absolutely cooked up that one season, got to superstar, and he's a true number one. True number 1/2. Glad to see it. Didn't really need to work too much on corners. We took a few, but didn't really need to. Clancy, I mean, what a guy. Literally saved this thing. The reason we've won the Super Bowl. I don't care what anyone, all these other guys played their part, but he saved the Super Bowl run itself and the Super Bowl itself multiple times. What a guy. What a guy. Terrion Arnold, number 3. He shouldn't be a number 3, but completely forgot to pull him off there. I put him on there because I usually forget to do the signing. I'd rather have an extra player than lose the player I needed. And then you, of course, have Roy Franklin, who, like I said, I've seen so many of those top, tier talent guys, normal dev, and that was one of them, unfortunately. Dexter Lawrence, he's still a freaking 96 overall. This guy will not die. He is inevitable. Really didn't have great sims for us, but the problem is, just like when we do those scoutings where we, scout one of the worst players on the bottom of the list because we know the other ones are at least good enough, he was kind of benched a little bit because we needed the other guys to dev up, right? He's already a great player, so he's kind of on the back burner because we're trying to develop the other guys that are kind of trash. Powell, okay pass rush, great block shed, might even be the future of Dexter if we need to replace him. And then, of course, Wayne, really good, arguably better than Powell already. Thing is, money is a problem, so re-signing Emory Jones might have really hurt us because you got to pay a guy like Powell. I don't know if we can. Got to pay a guy like Carter. I don't know if we can. Thing is, Colts will save some money if Thibodeau needs a contract, which I don't think he is up for another couple of years. But anyways, that's going to be it for the realistic style rebuild of the New York Giants. Aaron Rodgers, he was good. He was better than Jaxson Dart the first season, and Dart, he ended up becoming a Super Bowl winning quarterback. May argue that it was the mentorship's help. I don't know. I suppose with the Giants, if they're not dead set at quarterback in the top 3, which it seems like they're looking to trade up. I don't know if the Titans are willing to move, but if they are willing to trade up, and they do, I don't think Rodgers is a good decision, but if you're not trading up, I think why not? Why not? Like, how can things get worse for New York? They can't, right? And if you're a Giants fan, you get to say that, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time played for your team. So for Rodgers, I think is the dumbest thing you could ever do. Why would you do it? I don't understand. I would never understand it. If I'm him, I'm retiring if I'm not joining a team that's good. Why would you join the Giants? Like, why? You're a quarterback. There's a chance you literally become crippled. What's the point? I don't know. Sorry, Giants fans. You guys have great history. But as far as why Rodgers would join the team as it is, I don't see it. It was questionable with the Jets, right? It felt like maybe the Jets, they have a good enough roster. Maybe they get in the playoffs. Maybe you never know. They have a crazy run because there's always luck involved in a Super Bowl run. Doesn't matter how good you are. There's always one moment you're like, man, if that wouldn't have happened, this team doesn't win, whatever. But even then, you're like, yeah, maybe a year or two from down the line, they could be really good. The Giants are more than a year or two away. So I don't see it, but for the fun's sake, maybe you would like to see it. If there's any Giants fans watching this video, and you're hell, if you're watching at this point, appreciate all of you. But what do you think? Do you think they should go Rodgers? Do you think it's a good decision? Do you want it? Let me know. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, maybe leave a like. Subscribe if you're new. If you're not new, I appreciate continued support on the channel. Follow me on Twitter, JeromepkR. Second channel, PK Plays for non-Madden content. Started up the Batman Arkham City series with part 1 on Monday. We'll have part 2 tomorrow. And then we'll have some more videos on the weekend. Probably have the start of the Patriots next season. We'll probably do the off-season with like the preseason and all that as a video, and then we'll start doing 4 games per episode. Probably going to be doing, I wouldn't say the moments per se, but there'll be a little bit less in those videos, right? Because, I mean, if I played 4 games at the standard time, it'd be a 2-hour video. I don't think anyone wants to see that. Maybe you do. I don't know, but I don't think anyone wants to see that. So they definitely need to be edited down somewhere, which would mean playing less of the snaps, because pretty much every snap we play is somewhat meaningful. But yeah, that's about it. Let me know what you want to see next for Rebuild, Realistic Style, or Challenge Rebuild. And that's about that. Hope you guys come back for next video. But until next video, see ya. And once again, shout out to all the members of the channel. Appreciate you guys a ton. If you weren't aware, we do have members exclusive videos, mainly rebuilds. So check those out. And speaking of that topic, we obviously do one every 15th of the month. So let me know kind of if you have an idea of what you'd like to see for the 15th. Obviously, I have plenty of ideas, but maybe there's one that you guys really want to see. And if so, let me know. Regardless, member or not, appreciate you all for watching, and see